Hello, this is the Political Matrix. I am your host, Marcus Cage, other known as Young Morpheus, other known, hopefully in love, as Marcus Rage. Um, as I was going back through some of my older videos and some of our older live streams, I noticed that some of these were chock with a lot of information. Though the quality wasn't always as great, I decided that I wanted to try to share some of these older videos with some of um, our newer subscribers who are not familiar with some of this content. So I decided to bring out two videos that I did in the past. One of these videos, this one which I'm showing you now, will be from the video See, They Rule the World. I believe that's what, They Rule the World 1. I believe that's what I titled it. In that video, I tried going in and roughly explaining some of the people at the very, very top and how deep and long some of their ties go all the way back. Hopefully this video is enlightening, educational, and hopefully a little entertaining at the same time. I have a second video which I'm going to be releasing, which will be a portion of the live stream that followed later on that day after this video premiered. Hopefully that segment will encourage you all to go and check out that full live stream. A lot of information in there, so hopefully you enjoy. Apologies for this first clip. My audio is a little bit bad. I guess I had the fan running, didn't realize how loud it was, and I know me with how much information and probably work I put into it. I probably didn't want to go back and redo the whole thing, so apologies for that, but hopefully you all check it out. It's still chock with a lot of good information, and this time I've upgraded it and put a couple of graphics in there, and then maybe made some clarifications on some things which I wasn't as clear on at the time, which I have a little bit more knowledge on now. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good one. Hello, I am your host, Young Morpheus. I am here with a what I'll call a mini documentary on the people that rule and control everything. Um, in order for you all to truly understand this, I hope that you will take the time to watch all the videos out. It is going to go into some areas that some of you may not like to go in or don't find of value. But I honestly hope that you would at least hear me all the way out and understand how some of these things actually really do manifest and work, even if you don't share these same beliefs and viewpoints. First, I figure in this first video, I will just try to explain the picture, what we have. When people say the Illuminati, that's the people I'm talking about, and I'm going to continue to call them the Illuminati. A lot of people who feel like, oh, well, that's just a silly term and this and that. It's because you don't truly understand what they stand for and why they call themselves the Illuminati. I will get more into that, into some of my videos that will come up after this one. But in this first video, I just want to give you the power players that are at top and try to give you the whole pyramid and let you understand how this thing works. It's a reason why everybody always talks about pyramid schemes and everything's a pyramid, because everything works off of this whole pyramid system. And if you don't understand how a pyramid system works, it's one person at the top who is being fed to from all the people from below, and each level above amasses more and more and more until the top level has the most. I know I said I will do this in the next video, but I guess I'll just say it right now. The reason why they call themselves Illuminati is because they consider themselves the illuminated ones. Illuminated in information that only they know, that we don't know. That's why they call themselves the Illuminati. Those who just think that that's some just kind of crazy wackadoodle term, there was an actual Illuminati. They operated pseudo secretly. What happened, which forced them into complete secrecy, is one of their plots involving manipulation of world events and of governors and trying to get somebody assassinated was leaked out. And once that information was leaked out, they were, I believe it was Bavaria. I believe it was Bavaria that they were expelled from. And at that point, then all the other nations start saying, hey, be on the eye for the Illuminati, so pay attention to them. Well, what many people know of the Illuminati is what I would call pieces. In order for you to really get it, you have to understand how the whole entire pyramid works. The bottom of the pyramid, of course, is us. The next level of the pyramid, that's where you have law enforcement. That's where you have the justice system in the smaller municipalities. That's when you're dealing with your local Congress people and that avenue. But as you keep creeping up on the different levels, you start to run into the pharmaceutical companies, you start running into the oil companies, you start running into all the mass communication companies and all the different online platforms. After you get above those levels and you get through the lobbyists and you get through the world banking industries, then you actually start to get into the people of what's the actual individuals who are running this system. Once you, the area where I feel that is not looked at nearly enough, if you have what's called at the round table level, where you have what's called the Council of say, what was it? I can't remember. Oh, Council of, I believe it's like the Council of 300. And that Council of 300 is like the 300 like top CEOs, investment bankers, and those people fit into that level. At this point, this is where we're talking about you have to factor in the Masonic temples and all this, because all of these people are Masons to some degree, whether they actually do it through the years process and work themselves all the way up, or they do it through the fast track, which there's a fast track way of becoming a 33rd level Mason. If you are high up, if you have wealth, if you have certain positions, you can barter those things and go through all the rituals within a weekend ceremony, which I've learned from a 32nd degree level Mason.
That. I thought start doing more homework on it. What did I get myself into? But
did you ever get that far?
Oh yeah, I became a Master Mason.
Okay.
I mean, the highest you go is 33rd, but
Okay.
even at 32nd, see, from the ranks of 30th to 33, which is 3, that's when they divulge the actual truth to you.
I got you.
You know, which they have you in darkness all those years, and then once you start climbing up the rituals and the phases, and you go up the ranks or degrees,
Right.
we call it. You could go from the 3rd degree to the 32nd degree in a weekend.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you could do it in 2 days. They call that the fast track. But usually to get that high, it takes years.
Wow.
It takes years, but you could do it the other way. You got to pay some money or talk to whoever.
When people just look at the Masons, they have to understand that the Masonic temple is also tied into the Irish rites, York rites, Knights Templar, and then the Shriners, and then more and more groups. When we're talking Illuminati, Illuminati is not only talking about these top investment banks, it's not talking about the Federal Reserve only, it's talking about all these Masonic groups also are all involved in this. Now, I guess I'll get up to the point which a lot of people would want to know about, the actual names. Let's see, well, I said the Council of 13, which, the Council of 300, which sits over the 33rd degree Mason level, which some of the CEOs, some of the entertainers, they're at that level. Once you go above that and the 300, then you hit what's called the Council of 13. I'm in the belief that these people rotate in and out of the 13, minus one family. One family, I believe, that is the head of the pyramid, never switches out, but their family is still considered amongst the 13, because some of the lesser family members who are not actually running it do have a say so also. First families of the 13, which I know is still a member, the Saud family. The Saud family out of Saudi Arabia. They are impactful, and later on I will get into detail onto how these people are all intertwined and how they got involved. But oil is, those who know about the foundation of the kingdom in Saudi Arabia, you'll understand how this all starts to play in. The Saud family, so I think it's anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000. Only 2,000 people in the Saud family are the ones who are making all the bells and whistles work. They're the ones who have overall control, and they're the ones who have say-so. Let's see. A lesser-known family that's not a lesser-known if you were British, but the Bundy family. Bundys are all tied up with royal lines and the Norman conquest and Normandy conquest, which you'll find a lot of these people, which I'll mention, their ancestors all go back to York
and a lot of these different older houses. Let's see.
At the time when I did this video, I wasn't as familiar with the ties to the Bundy in American politics, but if you look into the Bundys here, they have a long, deep history in American politics.
The Onassis bloodline, and I'm not talking about Jackie Kennedy. That's not the one I want you to focus on. The Onassis I want you to focus on is Aristotle Socrates Onassis. He was big in shipping and made a lot of his money through shipping and investments. Also tied in with like tobacco and stuff like that. He was, I'm not sure how the relationship is, but I know that the Onassis are really good friends with the Saud family, and they had already had a family kind of back and forth relationship years before even Kennedy had really started to become a name in American politics, or JFK started to become a name. Freeman, that family is tied in with a lot of popes and royal families within the Royal Catholic Church. They're also tied into jewelry and antiquities.
I wanted to add in a quick clarification so that it's not mixed up when I say Freeman or Freedman versus Freedman. I do mean Freeman, and I also do mean Freedman, which is different. Just like the Freemans, who were involved very much in the Catholic Church and religion and antiquity, going back, through the Anglo-Saxon line, the same thing with freedmen. The House of Freedmen, which goes back into a lot of early Judaism and also into banking. Some of the members of that family have ties into Goldman Sachs. Though I didn't mention Goldman Sachs, that is, they are also tied in, not into the 13, but they would fall up under the Council of 300. Sachs and many into prominent rabbis and theologians. And also, I forgot to mention the legal field.
So all of I'm giving you kind of just an overall view of kind of what they had their hands on, and then later on we'll dig deeper into more of what they had going on. The Kennedys, of course, everybody knows the Kennedy name, but I don't think a lot of people know about the O'Kennedys or the O'Shanefion, which that was a Celtic Irish dynasty, which was which did share some family roots with the with some of the families out of York, being that some of the Frankish and York all kind of blended together since England, Scotland, Ireland. A lot of there was a lot of intermarriage to try to what would we say? I guess, for one, stop some of the warring that was going on. For two, build some alliances. And so these families still have some of these alliances, literal blood alliances to this day, because they're family members. The Reynolds family, which there's actually two different Reynolds. I'm not certain if they're both related, but I know that both of these Reynolds came up in my research as people that are connected to the 13. One, of course, that you've heard of, like the major American corporation Reynolds, that is known for like Saran wrap and things like that. They're actually known for a lot of other things too. But the one which I think they're more kind of talking about in particular is the Reynolds line, which is over Marlboro. and a ton of tobacco products, and now they're actually into medicinal marijuana. So the Reynolds family is a family that we all should be looking at.
At this time, I am able to say that yes, those two Reynolds are connected. The Reynolds that is dealing with tobacco, and the Reynolds which is involved in metals, which a lot of us know for aluminum foil, Reynolds wrap, are actually both related. It is started by the nephew of the founder of the tobacco products.
The Russell family. The Russell was a royal line, and a lot of the Russells went into religion. There were a lot of popes, bishop, archdiocese, like that. See,
a correction I'd like to make from my earlier video from a year and a half ago. Though many went into religion, I think I completely undersold how many actually had prominent roles within the government and throughout Parliament.
Another next family we'll talk about is the Collins family. If that's familiar to some of you who've really followed history, think back to names like Michael Collins. Michael Collins, who was an Irish Republic Army founder, and the family also founded the Revolutionary Irish Republic. So this family has been deeply tied into politics, and they come from a actual royal, former royal lineage. Next family we'll talk about, more Americans definitely should know this name. I will let them look into detail, but my main key point is remember these names and please do your homework. Research more. You might find a lot more information than I was able to find. Or you might already know information which is pertinent and needs to be added in. The next family I will bring up is the Astors. The Astors were a fabulously wealthy family. A lot of people believe that they basically own New York City. Let's see, let's go on to our next one. DuPont. I know a lot of people have heard the name DuPont. They think of carpet, they think of paint, they think of things like that. But what a lot of people don't know about the DuPont family is they started out as weapons manufacturers. The DuPont family actually, they actually have a lot of patents for things also. Like neoprene and like a couple of different things, like they actually have patents for which they're fabulously wealthy from. After all of they start getting a lot of hot water. The DuPont start getting a lot of heat, negative attention. And so they decided, you know what, let's completely get away from that. So that's when they went into more, I know I said neoprene, but they did a lot as far as chemicals. They turned into more of a chemical company, and like carpet cleaners and various, they make tons of stuff, and they are involved in this whole process also. Let's skip on to another one. This one, if you've seen the movie Matrix, you've heard this name before, the Merovingian. The Merovingian line, that line, some Christians, I don't share this belief, but some Christians believe that Mary, who was the mother of Jesus, or if I might be mistaken, or it could be Mary Magdalene, whichever one of the Marys biblically, this family believes that they originate from that maternal line of Jesus. So, they have bred a family full of plenty of kings, a lot of them who went into the papalhood. And I know you'll hear this ongoing story over and over about, like, well, they're a royal line, and then this person went into, like, religion or went to the Catholic Church. Well, that was very common for those who did not get the throne to go into the priesthood. So you will see a lot of that, and the priesthood was a way for many of them to have a way to have some authority and to move up also. The Van Dun family, or the Vanderdun family, they are the House of Nassau. That's a family which is tough to find a lot of information about. They are German, and they are a German royal family. But their family still exists to this day, and they are still, movers and shakers and things that are going on. The Lee family, that would be L-I, Lee, which sometimes it can be L-E also. And it doesn't matter if it's last name or first name. The Lee family comes from, I believe it was the Tang Dynasty. I could be off, but I think I'm pretty sure. I think I'm correct that it's the Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty, and they control a ton of things to this day, including the Bank of East Asia, which was the bank which was responsible for flipping China to becoming more westernized, and that's what led to a lot of the colonization, which happened from the European countries into China. So that's the Lee family, L-I. And even they even go so as far as you don't actually even have to be related for them to protect you if you are a Lee, which they have come to the aid of various different Lee families throughout the world, whether it was South Korea, whether it was Philippines, whatever. They come to Lee. I guess they maybe see themselves as a whole total family. So the Lee family is a family that I believe that we need to watch out for. Number 2 on this list, Rockefeller. We all know about the Rockefellers, so we won't even really go that deep into it. They've had their hands into every piece of the pie, and when I go into my segment going into the Rockefellers, I will go into more information on that. The same with the Red Shields, or the Rothschilds, as they are called today. That's the same thing. They, if you don't understand about how the Federal Reserve was created and how, Amschel Bauer, his original name, Bauer, before switching to Red Shield or Rothschild, he intentionally sent his sons to different countries to position them to be able to carry out his will as far as the banking situation that they had set up. I mean, they started off as like gold traders and a couple of different things, but eventually they did move into banking. And now that I've kind of thrown out some of the names, some of these secret societies that we know of, the Stolen Crossbones, are part of how they're all tied in. I mean, I mentioned the Masons and the Knights Templar. Some of these groups literally are the ones who are the founders of the Knights Templar, founders of the Masonic lodges, founders of the York Rites, which, if you all don't realize, York Rites, that goes on to the Windsor family of Queen Elizabeth and all of those people. That's all involved in that. When we talk about those are the people at the top. Now, there are the deposed dynasties where some of them might be in that area, or they might just be part of the Council of 300. I will mention these people so we can throw some of these names out there, and then we all can kind of go into it later on as I in my future videos on this topic. some of the names and houses which I want you to think about and keep in mind. The Plantagenet household. I'll say that again. Plantagenet. I know that's a weird name, but that house spawned the cadet houses, as they call them, cadet houses of Lannister. I mean, not Lannister. Well, it's funny because in Game of Thrones, Lannister is actually based off of the Lancasters. That's why you will see, if you see their sigil, you'll see that it's a lion just like that. But York, which that falls into the Windsors, and Beaufort. Then you'll also see on the other side of that, on this York line, York, it ties down into the Franks. Franks ties into like, Henry the 7th and 8th and Richard the 3rd. And then you have like some of the families out of Germany, like the Habsburg. Habsburg is a very, very long line, which still is powerful to this day. Cavendish. Cavendish is, trying to remember what Cavendish was into. Oh, Cavendish was on the, what was it, House of Lords. So when you start hearing about House of Lords and all that, that's the Cavendish family. They're also tied in cousins to the Kennedys. So Cavendish tied in with Kennedys, and also Winston Churchill was married into the Cavendish family also. Which, when we're talking about families and ties and marries, when we're talking about the Red Shields or the Rothschilds are actually married in. Well, they're not married in, but Rockefellers are married in to the Rothschild family also, along with some of the Carnegie. Was it Carnegie that is married into Rockefeller, I believe. So, I mean, it gets confusing when you get to that level. Some of the honorable mentions, which I want to put out there, which I don't know the level of control. Well, some of these people I know they don't have a lot of control, but they are people who are all tied in with this. So every name that I mentioned, these are all people that are at least Masonic, tied to roughly at least the 33rd level. They're part of the Council of 300. They're part of the Council of 13. And then the next level above that would be the head of the pyramid, which at this current time would be whichever the head of the Rothschild family is normally the head of this table, because they are the ones who set the table in a sense. They recruited a lot of these people. They have used a lot of these people to work on things. Some of these names that we look at and they say the men who built America, when we start talking about, Rockefeller, we start talking about Carnegie, we start talking about James Pierpont Morgan and James Pierpont Morgan Jr. When we start talking about all of these names, the Bush family, Ford family, the Dodge family, all of these families were like old guard of the Round Table or the Council of 300. These are the types of people who you see at the Bilderberg meeting, things like that. Let's see. So I'll go into these extra names that I feel like every one of us should be looking into. Before I say that, look into Kingdom of Normandy. Oh yeah, I forgot. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but we were talking about the Bundys before. A name for Bundy, which translates to Bond. Bond, which was James Bond. So they were throwing a little nod to him. I mean, there's all kind of movies where they will throw nods to the stuff which they've done. Perfect example, the movie Anastasia. That's really kind of what happened with the Romanovs, which the Romanovs are another family to throw in there that's a big name to watch out for. Krupp, Sinclair, Warburg. I forgot about Warburg. Warburg is tied in with the men who helped build America, well, in Europe too. Let's see, De Medici, which that's anybody who's followed, ancient Rome should definitely know about the Medici family. Let's see, Hanover, and I think that's about as far as the royal lines, which I'll talk about right now. But some of the other people that we have to look at, like political donors and think tanks and all that, all of these people are all tied into what we call the Illuminati. Let's see, the Waltons, the Kochs, the Adelsons, Soros, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Henry and Marcia Laffer, Carla Jefferson, Paul Singer, which look into the Singer family also, not only Paul, Deborah Simon, Donald Sussman. Definitely looking at Donald Sussman. Some of you already know about Donald Sussman, some things, but look into that him. Richard and Elizabeth Uihlein, I'm sorry. Of course, Mike Bloomberg. We all know how shady he is. Look into his ass some more. Tom Steyer and Kat Taylor. They've dumped a lot of money into politicians recently, so I think we all should be paying attention to that. And then you have Bernard and Billy Marcus. Those are people. These are all names who are all somewhere on this tower, on this whole pyramid in a sense. And all of these people, right there, I gave you kind of the outlook of who they all are. Because I want to hurry up and get this video up, I'm not going to throw a whole lot of graphics or anything in there, so I apologize that I did not. But that is just a short overview of all of the people who are, well, not even all, just a portion of the people who are all intertwined and making these things move. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to go into it more in depth on the show tonight, and then look forward to part 2 of this video, where I am going to actually start explaining how this whole pyramid, how this thing got put together. And we'll start explaining that. We're going to go into the third part. It's going to be explaining why they're doing what they're doing, and what they believe in. And all of these things are important if you really want to understand who's controlling and running this stuff. So with that said, I'm Young Morpheus, and hopefully this was enlightening. If you have any information that can add to this, that can help enlighten me also, or anyone listening, please leave it in the comment section. If it's something that you feel that I need to really go into and make a video about it, please let me know. That said, you all have a good one. Hopefully you stay safe. Thank you.